Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the test account and our new patch is up, which means we have a new Awakened Hypo hero, and we also do have some changes to the merchant shop that we want to look at. But let's take a look and see what this hero does look like, what he brings. Now overall, interesting enough that he does have this big crystal sword, also has this little like vial, almost like a little encapsulated thing right there, which I believe that is a heart. So very similar to what we've seen, and I believe it was with right here. She had kind of the same thing that she's carrying. Not sure if that's going to be tied to anything, but you can see that the dragon is kind of inside this little capsule. And then we're seeing the exact same thing from the new hero, Envy, which is this little, again, kind of capsule. Let's run through the skills and abilities. I want to check out the Arena of Trial and see what this looks like. Now, Infernal Jealousy. Now, if you remember from the data mined information, we didn't have any of the actual numbers, which now we do. And then looking at this, there is a passive aspect for a majority of his skills. So after every 2 normal attacks, so that's it, 2 normal attacks, next normal attack is enchanted. Each strike of the enchanted normal attack will deal extra damage equal to 5% of the target's max health. That is important to note because the stronger and the higher the max health, the stronger and the more damage this is going to do, not to exceed 500% of his attack rating, which means, again, higher attack rating, higher top scale damage for here. Active places the Shadow Core back into his chest, which I believe the Shadow Core is what he has and what he is holding. Gaining the power stored and dealing 250% damage to nearby enemies, knocking them down, transforming into the Avatar of Envy for 18 seconds. Think about a full battle. It is minute 30. 18 seconds is a pretty good turnaround time. While Avatar of Envy is active, each attribute recorded by the Shadow Core, the attack rating will be boosted by 15%, and his normal attacks will turn into double strikes. So now we have double strikes for 18 seconds, and he's going to buff himself with that attack rating. He gains immunity control effect after the ultimate transform ends. He retains 400 energy, so he is almost, I mean, that's what, 40% from ulting a secondary time, which is going to be kind of crazy when you start adding in haste and everything else for this hero. While the Avatar of Envy is active, each attribute recorded by the Shadow Core will reduce the physical resistance of nearby enemies by 5 points and crit block, meaning that everyone on your team is going to be doing more damage because of the physical resistance that is going to be reduced, and also the ability to crit because that is reduced as well. While Avatar of Envy is in effect, normal attacks are enhanced. So all of his attacks are going to be enhanced. Pretty strong right there. The Echoing Shackles. When an enemy suffers a debuff, the Shadow Core will nourish as the reduced attribute is recorded, and a mark of corruption will be placed on the enemy. So that is very important. When they suffer a debuff, Shadow Core can record a maximum of 7 types of attribute debuffs. Marks of corruption last for 7 seconds and will explode upon expiring. So every 7 seconds, you're going to have this explode. Or when the marked enemy takes normal damage from Envy 2 times, this will deal 240% damage to nearby enemies. Enemies currently marked with a mark of corruption cannot gain another one. So if you think about it, if an enemy is marked, they're almost like a bomb. And at the end of this 7 seconds, or if he attacks 2 times, the bomb is going to detonate. When he suffers a control effect, he gains control immunity for 1 second and stuns the attacker. This is going to be huge in PvP. Stun's duration is based on the duration of the control effects for up to a maximum of 3 seconds. This effect can be triggered once every 4 seconds. So there's only 1 second in there where you're not going to be stunned. When an enemy suffers a debuff, the attack speed is increased by 45 points for 4 seconds. Crazy, because his normal attacks are going to go through the roof. Each attribute core, he will deal 5% more damage for the entire battle. For each strike of normal attack, he deals to the enemy with a mark of corruption. Range and final explosion will be increased by 25%. Marks of corruption deal 100% more explosion damage to the marked enemy. Again, this is a signature item that is going to ramp up. Back with the passive ability, the Loom of Longing. Start a battle, he marks the enemy with the highest attack rating with Desired. When an enemy marked by Desired receives healing or shields from their ally, he receives 100% of that effect. This shield cannot exceed 1,000 of the initial attack rating. He also takes 70% less damage, and health loss from enemies are not marked with Desire. He inflicts 350% damage for and 4 seconds of silence on the enemy and a fan-shaped area. So pretty much if you put all the heroes together, they're going to create a bomb. He's going to blow up and he can silence them. The enemy is going to blow up, doing a lot of damage. Now, when an enemy becomes marked with desire, becomes untargetable, invincible, or immune, also receives the same effect. So he's kind of mirroring that. When a marked enemy desire actively uses a skill other than ultimate, the cooldown speed of that skill is increased by 25%. So again, PvP wise, this is going to be massive. And then the Sinful Feast instantly slashes every enemy hero dealing 300% of the ceiling attack rating based on the enemy buff that currently gives the highest percentage to the attack rating. So again, PvP wise, this is going to be huge. Stolen attack rating lasts for 8 seconds, cannot exceed 60%. Finally, inflicting heavy strike of 360% of damage on the enemy hero with the highest base attack rating, plus an additional 300 damage based on the stolen buffs. Now the steal goes to 12 seconds, 20% of the attack rating will be stolen. Enemies will take extra damage equal to 100% of the stolen attack rating. Seems like he's going to do a lot of damage with a lot of abilities in here. Now, the Blossoming Vengeance. For each attribute on the enemy hero that is reduced by a debuff, the enemy will take 10% more damage from normal attacks, which means the normal damage that he is putting out, up to a 70% increase in damage for each attribute recorded by the Shadow Core. They gain 5 points of attack speed. If an allied hero attack speed is greater than 0, then every point of attack speed will grant 0.5 points of life leech and increase the normal attack damage. This again is going to be huge, thinking Nightmare Corridor. These effects will apply up to 80 points of attack speed. That is a crazy amount of attack speed in there, guys. Let's go ahead and look at what this hero looks like in combat, because that is an incredible amount of information to really digest. So we know he's going in there. He literally teleports everywhere around the board. So there's the ultimate ability. So that turns him into the dark. That is really cool looking. Not a fan of the regular one, how he looks regularly, but when he turns into the other hero, that is pretty cool looking. It's almost like a dark villain shadow. And it does look like Lucretia. Looking at it here, just teleporting all over the battle. There's the fan. You can see the marks over here. Wow, that is pretty impressive. Now, also remember with the mitigation, with everything else, it seems like he is going to be a hero that we can put front line. I don't think there's going to be any problem putting him front line. And I'm wondering, just kind of the teleportation around, yeah, just gets absolutely wrecked right there. But let's add in like a Lava Tune, maybe an Ivan. That way we have some defensive capacity. Even here's a buffer. Let's throw a Nox in here. Throw in his fellow Hypos, see what we get. See, I wanted to see, kind of gauge how much damage he takes. Even there, I know damage is going to be through the roof because he pretty much just killed everyone. 6.77. And in PvP-wise, I can see him being used in a lot of different places. But that is pretty impressive with how he does work. And again, when it comes to going into the avatar of Envy, that is really, really cool looking. But overall, it seems like he is going to be a very high damage dealer. Now, in addition, we do have a couple things. The Gift of Time is up. Make sure you do not look or do not miss the Gift of Time itself, because of course this hero is giving you a lot of different resources, a lot of those time emblems, and then you do have the 50 here, plus the discounted summons that you want to get out of here. Now, looking at the merchant, this is the other thing that they adjusted, was adding in more purchases. Right here, added a new Awakened Hero Soul. So you can see all of the new heroes that we have in here and all of the new ones, which there's your Celestials, there's a couple Hypos, and then here is pretty much a lot of the meta heroes that we're seeing have been dropped right in here. So you can see that you have the ability to get these, and I'm wondering if, yeah, you can buy the fragments. So thinking of the fragments, purchase the set to enjoy greater savings. So if you go ahead and you purchase this set in the entirety, refreshes in 11 hours right here. So this is a new special deal that they're actually promoting to go ahead and pick up and make it easier for a lot of these heroes to pick up those additional shards. Now, also remember, a lot of these shards, and I'm hoping the shards, and I'm assuming they might not go together, but just thinking of what we have in some other game modes where you can get shards of the heroes. I didn't think anything else in here changed unless I'm missing it, but it seems like this special deal was the one that they adjusted, because I went through the rest of this. This is the trade post, essentially putting a lot of this together, including the special rewards that we have in here. But all right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.